What's up, everybody? We are here with the second week of the Yale League of Legends solo duo tournament with How You Like That versus Fashion Rats, and we'll be jumping right into the draft. I'm here casting along with Yvonne, or what is your in-game tag? Could you share?
Yes, people call me Keeny, Kenny, and Inky late at night.
Late at night. Okay. Well, we see the Teemo ban already being thrown towards Fashion Rats as the opponent of Fashion Rats in the last week, and as someone who got run over by Mango Stalker's Teemo, I can understand that ban coming out first here. It's
Yeah, Teemo,
immediately
he's small, but he's mighty.
right. A lot of lane dominance on your strongest player, Mango Stalker. There, the Kazakhs ban being answered. For those who don't know, preseason 11 dropped last night in the early morning. And so far, it seems that Kha'Zix is appearing to be a very strong champion. So there's no surprise to see that coming out. Perhaps they're scared of how you like that, picking that Kha'Zix up in the early phases.
And the Urgot ban. Let me stalk really quick who's on Fashion G-Rat's team. Kind of looks like a Will ban.
A will ban, huh? Uh, we have. Okay, so we have the Urgot ban being thrown towards the top laner. We banned that actually. Pykel is a Urgot jungle enthusiast, and he is the
Oh,
jungler
I
for Fashion
see.
Rats. So, how you like that? Probably not wanting to be cheese there. That's responded by two more jungler bans with Jarvan and Lilia, and finally matched with an Ezreal. We saw Kuga Terranori dominate his previous game with the Ezreal pick there, so we'll have to see what
And
he
the
goes to
first pick,
next.
Lux. It looks like everyone in this tournament plays Lux.
Yeah, a lot of Luxes, a lot of Yumis. I think it says a lot about the Yale player base, but you didn't hear that from me. Um, let's see. I meant that. Don't read too much into that. Um, let's see. We have a vibe being picked here for Fashion Rats. That's what Pykel fell back to last week against my team. Strong showing on that champion previously. Do you think the Lux will be going mid here, or where do you suspect the Lux will be
Um,
going?
Probably mid. I've stalked a bunch of the teams, and it looks like there's a lot of a lot of people that mains like mages mid. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Lux go mid.
Yeah, it has been a while since we've seen a Lux
Mhm.
support pick, so I would suspect it to go mid. We have the Morgana answer here. Um, I would suspect going support, but we'll have to
That
see. The
spell
Jack's
shield's
being answered. You
yeah,
know,
that spell shield's gonna be useful later.
I'd be surprised to not see a Jhin pick from how you like that here. I know Kuka Terranori likes to play Jhin and Ezreal when he picks when he plays bot lane. And so far into this patch, Jhin has been shown to be a menace as far as statistics go, picking up
Yeah,
Eclipse and just doing tons of damage with a lethality build. So I'd expect to see some priority on that here, either now or in
definitely.
the second phase.
If there's no Jin pick, I've been a little concerned the other team's gonna ban his Jin.
Right. Okay, so the Evelyn being locked in here for how you like that. So that Jhin will fall to the second round, and we'll have to see what they have planned there. So far we have a jungler and a support here. Maybe we'll see a bot laner, um, or perhaps a mid laner to match the Lux before the pool gets pinched out. And it will be a Lucian, possibly mid, possibly bot. It's hard to tell. Um, Even though we had seen Lucian mid in the previous patches, who knows with all the new items where that Lucian pick will be going. Could even be top lane. The Aphelios ban, looking to pinch out the 80 carry pool. We'll have to see if they have sniffed out the Jin like we have.
Man, if I were them, I'd ban Jin.
Right. The Ari being thrown, perhaps scared of the mid pool. Maybe they think that that Lucian is not going mid. They might know something we don't. This last ban here. Will it be a Jin? What will it be? Presumably one more 80 carry. And the Ash. So
Oh,
Jin
they
is left
didn't
open
pick up
here.
the Jin.
Um,
Sneaky, sneaky.
right. Jin, of course, does have great synergy with the Lux support too, being able to root off of the Lux E. Uh,
Perhaps they were feeling some empathy for Jeff, knowing he doesn't really play ADC. Thought they'd leave him one champ
right,
open.
throw him a bone. You get one of your two AD carries, just not the Ezreal, perhaps. The Cho'Gath ban will round out our last set of bans. It's been a while since we've seen a Cho'Gath. Maybe there's a main on Team Fashion Rats. Again, we don't know where the solution is going, so it will be
Looks like the Lucian's going bot with that Veigar pick.
right.
I
Unless
have
there's
seen,
something really crazy going on, a Lucian
yeah,
top or a Veigar AD carry.
I've definitely seen a Veigar support, but that's in my personal bronze elo, so I don't know about this tournament.
You never know. You do never know. There's a lot of flexing that they could do there, but I imagine it will be pretty standard from here on out. And there's the Jin that we had been talking about. Um, Very strong pick right now. And with all that synergy with the Lux, that bot lane might be in some trouble. It seems that there is someone.
And the Malphite pick, not quite locked in.
Just one moment. And that Malphite pick will be locked in. Okay, so we suspect that the Lucian will be going bottom there. And everything else seems to be standard. I suppose it could be Lux support or Zillion support. Oh, I'm getting word that the Malphite was actually Mordekaiser. So we will be seeing Mango Stalker's Mordekaiser up in the top lane against the Jax.
Ah, fascinating.
And in just a moment, I think the teams will be moving into the draft phase. Do you have any takeaways so far from this draft, Yvonne? Anything jump out at you?
Honestly, if I were how you like that, I'd be a little bit scared of Fashion Rat CC, with the Veigar, Cage, and the Malphite ult. And Vi can easily pick up one of their squishy champions with her ult as well.
Remember that it is a Mordekaiser, not a Malphite, so it does reduce
Oh,
their CC a
right.
little bit there. Um, Other than that, though, they do have a fairly formidable team fight comp.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure who their mid lanes are, but it looks like Lux and Veigar. They both have pretty long range, so we might see a bit of a farming simulator there early game.
right. Well, I imagine the Lux does outrange the Veigar pretty significantly, though I don't expect there to be too large of a gap in priority in in either way.
Mm. Well, definitely not my Lux. Do you think with this team comp, do you think that, their junglers are going to focus in any particular lane?
um, what's in the top lane? Jax versus Mordekaiser.
Hmm.
Hmm. Perhaps there will be some attention. Um, Top lane, but that doesn't seem to be too volatile of a lane. Neither does mid lane. I think if you're the Jax jungle here, you really want to get your bot lane ahead because Jin is quite a menace, as we said before. One thing I do want to point out about how you like Death's draft is that usually when you draft Evelynn, you
Hmm.
want to draft Evelynn into a comp that is otherwise full physical damage because Evelynn really thrives when she is the only magic damage threat on the team. And of course, there's a Lux and a Zillion here, and some magic damage coming out of the Jax. So that's very much not the case here.
Right.
Um, so that might work towards the detriment of Evelynn. I also wonder if Vi is particularly good into Evelynn. I know that Evelynn has historically struggled against champions with like point and click hard CCs. Like Skarner comes to mind, something that can just grab Evelynn and keep her from last caressing out or flashing out or being otherwise slippery with her passive. Um, imagine that Vi can do similar with her assault and battery, but I wonder if Evelynn has a way to sort of buffer her ultimate to get out of that. I'm not sure how that interaction quite plays out.
Yeah, definitely. I personally really hate playing against Vi as even just a Lux because of her point and click CC. It just seems so hard to get away from that without a flash.
Right.
Without a flash.
Right.
Mordekaiser's ult, though, does isolate a particular champion from the rest of the team, right?
Yes, yeah, we'll see the Death Realm. Um,
And who do you think Mordekaiser would use that on? Does he use that
that's
in team fights or
yeah, I
not
mean, in
really?
most cases, the Mordekaiser will ult someone, uh, usually a squishier target, I suppose. I mean, the Jhin could be a possible target. I think one possible application is that, um, the Mordekaiser may, like, if Fashion Rats is, say, struggling to kill a priority target, before the Zillion is able to drop the Chrono Shift, then the Mordekaiser might prioritize that target in order to kill off that target before any revive shenanigans can even be played. So that's a potential counter interaction there.
Yeah, it's definitely. How many minutes are we into the delay?
The delay just started, so we're 2 minutes and 50 seconds out there. Compared to last draft, I'm familiar with Fashion Rat's last draft um, because I played against them in particular. We're seeing a similar bot lane where the instead of a Lucian Yumi, we're seeing a Lucian Morgana, so another Enchanter plus Lucian there. Um, in the previous game, the Lucian was able to navigate the bot lane pretty safely and farm up for mid late.
So
The Vi
speaking from experience here, how would you suggest how you like that play against Fashion Rats?
I think what my team in particular, what we struggle to do is um, get past the early game, particularly the top lane pressure from Mango Stalker. I think now that Mango Stalker isn't on, that sort of ranged bully in the top lane, that this game will likely play out much more differently than in the previous game, just by virtue of Mordekaiser playing much differently than Teemo. Um, so expect this game to take a much different course. I can't remember what the mid pick was in the previous game. It wasn't a Vigar, I don't believe, but the Vi was the same. So it's a
Yeah, I,
similar
I can't
draft
remember who the
in
mid
that
laner was.
aspect. Yeah, me neither. I suspect that the Lucian might have a bit of a hard time here, seeing as um, he's a little bit outranged, especially by the Lux harass, and especially if the Morgana Lux matchup. Well, actually, I say this as I assume that it is a Zillion support. I'll double check on that.
I say this as a boosted gold Lux player, but
Okay,
I would be pretty.
it is a Zillion support, so scratch everything I just said. It's Lux in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's definitely Lux in the mid lane. I say this as a gold boosted Lux player. I think late game Lux is going to be pretty happy that Fashion Rats doesn't seem to have any like large gap closers other than Vi, and so I think her poke is going to be pretty significant later in the game.
Right. I think this game also there's high value on the Quicksilver Sash, being able to cleanse out of the Vi Assault and Battery, the Vigar Cage, and the Morgana Binding.
Does
As
Lux
what and
boost
that's even
Quicksilver Slash?
no, not traditionally, but she certainly could. I mean, there's also the Mordekaiser ult, which is a big priority for an item like a Quicksilver Sash. And just as I said that the spectator delay is now timed out, so I will switch scenes. Make sure that I don't get a black screen like in the previous stream.
Make sure your cat's not on top of your tower, turning off your
Oh,
viewers.
the cat is nowhere in sight,
Sure your
thankfully.
cat's not on top of your tower, turning off your
Oh,
viewers.
the cat is nowhere in sight.
I really hope we see an invade here. Really makes things interesting early game.
There we are. Which side do you expect to invade?
Um, I think the Morgana side.
Yeah, really, I mean, with the Lux and the Morgana being matched on either side, we could see invades from both.
Which one's red? Is that how you? No. Oh, red is Fashion Rats.
Red is Fashion Rats, yes.
So I asked Michael the inspiration behind this name, and apparently he said, quote, fashion rats, super beauty. I'm not sure what that really means, but I think it goes along the lines of small but mighty, like his Timo.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
That Teemo
Interesting name there.
is quite mighty, as I have experienced firsthand.
He has a very scary Timo.
Right. I'm looking at rune choices here, runes and summoner spells. There are no teleport advantages. Um, the Vygar's opting for the cleanse here. Perhaps the Evelyn charm or the Lux binding uh, are of concern for them. Otherwise, it does appear to be a pretty standard rune selection. Now, of course, the interesting part of this game is not going to be the runes. Everything is going to be focused towards the items, as everything is brand new, and I presume there's going to be a lot of experimentation uh, for both teams. So we'll
Yeah,
keep an
I'm
eye on that.
sure.
We'll keep an eye on the tab list, see what purchases are made and what mythics are chosen for these teams. And already here in the early game, we're seeing red pings in the top side of the enemy jungle, while blue pings seem to be going in the opposite quadrant of the map. So we may or may not
Looks
see
like we're going to
confrontation
see a
here.
collide here.
Right, Hensoku drops a ward and spots Fashion Rats before they can throw out any spells there.
It looks
Um,
like their invade is foiled for now.
right, Kuga Teranori is making counter advances on the enemy side of the map here, perhaps looking to drop a ward or scout out anything. We see Selasian throw out that binding to scout out the bush, and that does not find anything. So for the most part, red team's in the dark so far. So we will see junglers starting in opposite quadrants. So we may not see a scuttle confrontation. It'll depend on the pathing of these two clears. The Vi, of course, more likely to gank bottom here early since she started topside, and the opposite for the Evelyn.
Looks like Lux is already doing a fair bit of poking mid lane.
Right, some small exchanges in every lane so far, as everyone vies for that early level 2 and those early traits. It's worth noting here that Pykel has actually made some counter jungling advances into Hensoku's topside jungle, stealing away that blue buff. And the Evelyn does not seem to be aware of this, at least to our knowledge. Meanwhile, an extended trade going here in the top lane comes out about even, if not a little ahead for GM Tony. But here comes
Looks
the
like
Evelyn
Vi is
heading into the topside jungle. We might see a little confrontation here at Wolves, as I don't think Hensoku is aware of where Pykel is on the map right now. Yep, and Pykel with the double buffs will scare off Hensoku, and he's probably at a loss right now. Might try to do some vertical jungling, I presume, now that he knows where the Vi has been, but some crucial time lost nonetheless. And we see
looks
red
like
pings
Vi's looking
falling,
for a gank mid.
right, onto the mid lane. The Lux, of course, double sums here. Does not seem like she has to burn either.
So we did see Lux burn both.
No, sorry, Lux did not burn any sums. But Hensoku here has an advantage here on Pykel, but who's caught who? The Lux snare goes wide, and I think both teams will just walk out of this one. A scary little exchange for both junglers, I would think. Though it seems that the team How You Like That bot lane is here to guard the scuttle. About 30 seconds after it spawned, the topside scuttle is still available. So for the time being, Pykel is down the one scuttle.
Yeah, we learned last game how important that first scuttle really is for dragon control.
Right. And these early scuttles, I know I don't play much jungle, but I know that being double scuttled is it does hurt quite a bit in the middle in the early game. Oh, we see 2 double bombs stunning the Lucian here into the Jin root. Strong trade for Spection and Kuga Terranori to chunk out Zhang Power.
Saying big oof on Fashion Rat's side for not banning Jin.
Right. I mean, I don't blame them too much. It's hard to stay current on a patch that's been out for not even 24 hours, though the Jin is quite strong. Quick little exchange there. It does seem that Bitnari came out on top there, and of course has an 8 CS lead at this point, so it seems to be making some strides in this lane to take advantage of the early game Vigar. It's worth noting that Hansoku did end up picking up that top side scuttle, so it was indeed a double scuttle from this Evelynn onto the Vi.
To be fair though, the Vi did pick up her blue and Gromp. Does that make a difference?
Well, the Vi is of course up farm, so it's not a big difference, no. This trade, oh, GM Tony might have picked off more than he can chew. He trades the flash and will narrowly escape this. We'll have to see. Yes, and we'll see
Oh
the flash
no.
matched by Mango Stalker. So
I'm not sure if Vi needed a flash there though.
I think the Vi flash was. I think both flashes were likely necessary there. We saw one to bait out the Jax flash, and another to match the Jax hop. And that will be the first blood gold, of course, going on to the Mordekaiser here in this top lane. So if you are Team Fashion Rats, you're more than happy with this, having your top laner run away with that gold here on their first back.
Did Mordekaiser flash as well?
Yes, they both flashed. Both Mango Stalker and Pyko flashed, as well as Jax. Oh, we see a teleport from Mango Stalker coming here into the bot lane. Though he did not buy items. But still, we will see the flash being burned by Kuga Terranori, and the Black Shield being thrown onto Mango Stalker to allay any fears of being CC'd. Still, though, they will pick up this Ocean Drake, but of course Mango Stalker is losing some farm and some time in the top lane as GM Tony crashes this wave onto his turret and makes Mango Stalker lose a little bit of gold.
Looks like both junglers are doing a bit of counter jungling right now.
Right, the junglers are vertical jungling for the time being. Doesn't seem that either are too keen on respecting the river boundaries and are picking up whatever gold wherever they can. I think it's worth noting at this point. Oh, we see the Death Realm being placed on the Jax. Down. Oh, the Jax has now matched the level, so it is 7 levels, level 7 to level 7. But it doesn't seem that the Jax is able to get away from this Juggernaut, and the first kill will go over, or rather, the first unassisted kill will go the way of the Mordekaiser. We see this as Pykel ganks bot onto the flashless Jin, misses the Vi Q and gets exhausted. Oh, but a beautiful binding seems to secure this kill onto Kuga Terranori and grant a kill over to the Lucian. You know, wasn't a perfect gank, but it certainly worked and it got the job done. Let's take a look at the items, as I'm unfamiliar with many of these. So there's a Leeching Leer onto the Mordekaiser, I believe. It seems that is a mythic component of some mythic item. Perhaps someone will enlighten us there. Otherwise, seems to be some pretty familiar items. The mobility boots going onto the Morgana here is an interesting choice, as we don't really see the Morgana making any roams towards the mid lane or even towards the top lane. Perhaps an inefficient purchase, though there may be some use of it yet.
I don't know. I feel like when you see Morgana chasing down the Evelynn later, you're going to take that back then.
Right, I very well may. But for the time being, it does not seem that the mobility boots are paying off currently.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of, yes, right. The more Celestian making moves towards the mid lane, clearing out this pink ward, trying to exert whatever pressure she can for the Vigar, who is down a little bit of farm here. And even grouping up with the jungler here, so that the Celestian is definitely making good use of these mobies. I take everything back as the cage lands
Mm,
onto Bitnari, forces the flash,
the Q misses. Will they chase her?
but perhaps for the better. I'm not sure if Team Fashion
It looks
Rats
like
knew the whereabouts
Mortar.
of GM Tony there on the Jax. So no one loses anything quite there, except for perhaps Plate's bottom lane.
Lux Flash. The
Right.
Lux
Oh,
Flash is
yes.
also
And of
playing in
course the
lane,
Lux
so
Flash.
maybe we'll see another gank far by.
Right.
Yikes.
Oh, we
Oof.
see the immediate cleanse from the Vygar to dodge that final spark that could have perhaps spelled his doom.
Wow, that's genius, taking cleanse. I never thought of that.
Right, there's a bit of CC, especially from the Lux. There's
Definitely.
also the Evelyn Charm. We see Pykel here trying to secure another objective onto this Rift Herald. Of course, the Rift Herald is most valuable prior to 14 minutes, so that you can knock down those plates.
Evelyn is blocking up.
Yeah, it seemed to be a wise start. We'll have to see what the Evelyn can get done to challenge this. We see a Flash Smite to steal away that Rift Herald, but can Hensoku follow up with a 1-1v1? The Assault and Battery falls onto the Evelyn, and they're trading autos, but the last caress from Evelyn will secure the kill. It's a great turnaround from Hensoku there. Gets the Rift
Good
Herald
kill, yeah.
and the kill. Pykel there did have Flash, and Hensoku invested his there. So perhaps that's the only advantage gained. Kuga Teranori with some nice footwork there with the fourth shot speed to dodge away from Solasian's Morgana binding. So we see the gold lead once again favoring Team How You Like That. They were down gold prior to that Rift Herald trade, but with that kill picked up, they will enter another advantage. But
Oh,
just as
big
I say
bait
that,
for the
Mango
Jax,
Stalker
yeah.
picks up another solo kill. I believe that's the second of this lane phase onto GM Tony. So the GM Tony, so Jax, of course, a late game champ, but I think that late game fantasy is growing more and more distant each time he dies to this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I think that top lane snowball has gone down a very large hill
We see
in games
Pykel
that
looking
along.
for a gank here on the bot lane. Of course, does not have access to his Assault and Battery ultimate, and will just walk away after he's spotted out by the Jin Trap. We see pings being thrown down onto the dragon here, as it will spawn shortly. Though it doesn't seem like Pykel is quite done yet in this bot lane. It's worth noting that Hensoku's here to hover. Seems to have sniffed something out here, and is here on the counter gank. Selasian might have bitten off more than he can chew as the curtain call comes out and Pykel comes in with the Q. One kill falls over to the Morgana and the Chrono Shift. And just as
Yikes.
I say that,
Great rotation by the Lux there.
right, it's a
Very
party in the bot
comfortable.
lane. It's a 4v4 as both mid laners are here. As Van Amsterdam tries to make his best footwork, but just as we say that, Kuga Teranori steps a little bit too far forward and gets hit by that Morgana binding, and that will be all she wrote for that one. So we have both of the snag squad here in the bot lane. Lux and Morgana throwing out their CC, trying to get whatever picks they can on the enemy carries. As
So that was a Vi death on the red side and a Jin death on the blue side. Was that all that we saw?
I believe that was the case. We had the Zillion cancel out the one death onto Kuga Teranori with his ultimate.
Right.
But otherwise, I believe that was a 1-for-1. And neither team felt strong enough after that long interaction to take Drake. So ultimately, it was an exchange of gold and not much more. Again, Pykel's making strong counter jungle moves and seems to be wanting to exert a lot of pressure onto GM Tony here on this Jax. But I think that Mango Stalker might not even need any help. He pops that shield and Jax
No,
will
not
not
like
make
this,
it
Tony.
out of the Death Realm. Of course, Team How You Like That wanting to make some counter map moves, and Hansoku will drop the Rift Herald and get the first tower gold here, get the remaining plates on that bot tower, and likely move to this Infernal Drake. So that play top lane is not left unanswered, and ultimately I think you could say that Team How You Like That won out on this cross map trade, especially after this Infernal Drake. We'll have to see if they can make it out of this fight, though, as we see a teleport from Mango Stalker coming in, and red team is looking to collapse on How You Like That before they can even escape. It seems that How You Like That is it's all split up, but just as I say that, GM Tony comes in with the teleport. But is it too late? It may be, though no one falls. I think if you are a team How You Like That, you're more than happy with that exchange. Ultimately, you more or less burned a lot of summoners to get that first tower in those plates bottom lane, as well as the Infernal Drake.
Ooh, and in the cage.
Right, Kuga Terranori dodges the hard-hitting CC from... Oh my gosh. The Curtain Call does manage to hit a few members, but does not finish off Salacian there.
Good shielding by the Mordekaiser, I would say. I have many teammates who, would simply just walk past me and let me die there.
Right, yeah, some strong communication there. The Evelyn Charm falls onto Pykel, and Pykel might have found himself in an unfortunate position. Henzoku will throw out the flash to secure that kill. So both junglers without a flash, and Pykel without his life. Let's take stock of the game so far. So even though the red team has amassed a lead in kills, they are down. They are down gold still. Most notably in the mid and bot lane farm, up about a kill to two kills worth of gold in that category respectively.
That is a tanky Mordekaiser. We see the Lux combo go off there.
Right, and it's
So
worth
quite a
noting.
bit of-
It's worth noting that we saw the first mythics roll in it too. So we have, I say that just as the Vi cues into this mid lane trade. The culling is thrown out on to Kuga Terranori, and he will fall. The Morgana pops the corrupting chain and does also fall after popping out of that Zhonya's. So a 1-for-1 ultimately there. What I was saying is that we are seeing the first mythics roll through from either team. We already see the Eclipse coming out for Kuga Terranori on the Jhin, and that's to be expected. The Riftmaker coming onto the Mordekaiser, which is billed as true damage instead. I see. It's for Omnivamp. That doesn't indeed make some sense.
Quick question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
What is a mythic?
Yes. So a mythic item, for those who don't know, is a new type of item introduced in preseason, which dropped last night, which is designed to be a core item for every champion. So every champion can build one mythic item, and mythic items are designed to be stronger than the rest, which not only have gameplay defining attributes to them, but also buff your other items with special stats. So whatever mythic that a champion decides to build will greatly alter their playstyle, and is a good indicator of how they want to play their game going forward. Of course,
that's interesting. It's going to be a lot to get used to.
It is a lot to get used to, and of course, these teams don't necessarily have a great grasp of the strength of the mythics yet either. The curtain call, the curtain call from Kuga Terranori there answers the final spark thrown out by Bitnari to finish off those two low health targets, and picks up two kills.
Great accuracy by Jeff there.
Right. Oh, so the 4-1 here is playing out not necessarily how both teams imagined it. I think if you are a team How You Like That, I think you're a little more happy picking up more kills in the mid lane and securing that tower, as well as pressure for the upcoming dragon. Though I think you do have to be a little concerned of how you're going to answer this Mordekaiser in the side lane. Or perhaps you're not concerned at all. Having the winning 4v4 is a strong thing to have if you're trying to shot call these map rotations and objective takes into the mid lane game. We see priority being placed here onto the second Rift Herald by Team How You Like That. Of course, second Rift Herald is not as strong as the first Rift Herald because there are no plates, though they may be looking to make some cheeky pushes, perhaps drop the Rift Herald before this dragon. though red team is staking their ground around this dragon. It seems that Team Fashion Rats will look to burn this down before Team How You Like That will even respond, but it seems that Team How You Like That were prepared for this. They decided that, you know what, we'd rather have mid priority instead. We have a Rift Herald. I think we have the upper hand here. They have an inside track onto this lane, and though I may have spoke too soon, as Team How You Like That seems to have been split on their communication. They were unsure if they wanted to continue pushing out mid or rotate topside towards GM Tony in the top lane. So although it was possibly a correct macro decision, some execution and communication errors there. Ooh, GM Tony comes in to secure his first kill onto Van Amsterdam. I say this as Kuga Terranori, now on a killing spree, wipes out 2 more targets of Team Fashion Rats. The culling from Sang Power on the backside seeks to try to take out GM Tony, but he will get out as Kuga Terranori does his best to play hide and seek in the enemy jungle. It seems that he will be successful in doing so. The Death Realm falls onto the Zillion here, but the Zillion sped up and has this wall to play with. Doesn't seem like he will fall. As the curtain call from behind the curtains comes from the enemy blue buff, Kuga Terranori doing his best Fong Fong cosplay, but I see a lot of red pings falling onto the Jin face on the minimap. But just as I say that, Mango Stalker steps a little bit too far forward in that call and runs right into a final spark and meets his demise. That is the first death on Mango Stalker, notably, and that will be a bounty, I believe, over to Bitnari on the Lux. So a lot of gold going into the pocket of the Lux there. All right, Ivan, I've turned you up. I was just reading chat. I think you are muted if you are trying to talk.
Yes, there was a bit of barking going on in the background, but it's all good now.
All right, no worries. It does seem that, in case, for those who perhaps weren't catching the last few fights, it does seem that Team How You Like That is by and large winning the map play here, and is finding the edge in the few team fights that we have seen. They're currently sitting at about a 3,500 gold lead.
Yeah,
They are down the 1 Drake, but I don't think they're too concerned about that at this point.
I gotta say, maybe I'm speaking a little too early here, but it looks like How You Like That is displaying pretty good teamwork. I see red team going in one by one and continuously dying to the team.
Right, it does seem that their communication and their coordinated plays are finding them the edge in these fights. They haven't been, getting caught out by too many straight bindings or Vygar cages up to this point. So props to them for their coordination in that regard. It looks like they're trying to make some moves onto the mid lane tower here, as the Jax does his best to play weak side against the Mordekaiser being strong at this point in the game.
Yeah, I really think red side needs Mordekaiser there to protect their towers. Jack's trying his best to put some pressure on the top lane to get Mordekaiser to go up.
Right, and presumably as this game goes on, the Jax will find the upper hand eventually. It's just a matter of at what point he becomes stronger. Of course, Dragon is in 1 minute, so, split pushing might fall by the wayside, and we'll see a good old 5 versus 5 in the Dragon Pit. GM Tony does have the teleport advantage, notably. Mango Stalker does not have a teleport. So we may see Mango Stalker just start walking down there as GM Tony exerts whatever pressure in the top lane. Though it does seem that he will just recall, and it looks like he's pathing bottom and doesn't really want to take any gambles with the teleport. We'll just go ahead and teleport directly into the pit and get ready to throw down. And Team How You Like That will throw ultimates all onto Mango Stalker and will burst him down with the last caress and the Jin root. The Mango Stalker there, either his flash just came up or he didn't use it at the time.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like this dragon is going to solidly go to blue side
Right.
with that pick on Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Mango Stalker at this point, of course, being the primary threat. So with him down, I think Team How You Like That will gladly take that dragon fight, and we'll pick that one up. Both teams here vying for vision in the topside jungle, trying to get whatever control they can of the Baron. As sweepers go down, and Team How You Like That will clear out whatever wards they find. Try to wall out Fashion Rats from getting anything in this jungle. We see a teleport here from Mango Stalker behind Team How You Like That. We'll have to see if they can get out of this before the Mordekaiser runs over their backline. But here Mango Stalker comes. Ultimates will fly out everywhere. The Chrono Shift will go onto the Evelynn as she revives, but Bitnari will fall as well as... Oh man, it's a 2-for-2 so far. The Mordekaiser onto the backline here will clean up another one onto Spection Zillion. As the curtain call again comes from the enemy jungle trying to kill Zhang Power. And after that messy fight, Team How You Like That finds themselves with a 2-man advantage. We're getting word that someone disconnected on Team Fashion Rats. That's unfortunate. I wonder who was the one who disconnected there.
RIP Yale Wi-Fi. I've gotten word that Yale Wi-Fi has been pretty whack lately.
That's what I've heard, especially with Discord. I think there's been plenty of problems with League 2. That's unfortunate.
Chat saying Vagar DC? Yeah, it looks like Vagar did DC there.
That is unfortunate if you are Team Fashion Rats. You had a... And there will be the pause. This makes sense. Yeah,
I didn't exactly see where Vagar... I didn't see exactly where Vagar DC'd, but I'm not sure if that would have made the difference there. It looks like blue collapsed really, really well into the red on that fight.
Well, you say that, but I think... I mean, the fight did start with Mango Stalker's teleport flank from behind. I think the fight just sort of collapsed on itself. It wasn't... I guess it wasn't a terribly coordinated collapse from Team Fashion Rats. Though it did certainly start promising. I think you do have to wonder that if the Vagar was there, had that, 3-for-5 perhaps been a 4-for-4 or something even more favorable. I don't think it's completely out of the question. Oh, Vagar disconnected post-death. I see. Thank you, chat. Okay, so scratch everything I just said.
Jeff in bathroom.
Jeff in bathroom.
Looks like Kuga Ternori is in the bathroom.
Right.
Toilet diff.
There are new diffs being invented every day, and I'm all for it. So with that team fight win, Team How You Like That has reached a 5,000 gold lead, which is certainly, it's very notable. I think it's
Looks
up
like
to...
chat's asking you to hover over some mythic items.
Mythic items. Yeah, let's do it. Bear with me. I am not familiar with many of these mythic items. So the Jin and the Jax here, opting for the Eclipse. From what I've heard, Eclipse is a very strong item, especially on lethality AD carries. I have no idea if that's what Jax build, but I know it's a pretty viable item, at least in the bot lane. Night Harvester, I heard, is also strong. I've seen some videos of even like supports taking Night Harvester because it's kind of strong and it's kind of troll. It does grant CDR and it grants damage, so I think a lot of champions can pick that one up. Ludens for both mid laners, of course, is pretty standard. The shield bow, to my knowledge, is one of the better AD carry mythic items. I know one or two of them are not terribly strong. And we have the glacial item and the damage item in the support matchup there. And it looks like otherwise, we're just going to jump right back into this one. Oh, Celestian being caught here while warding in the top jungle. I don't think that they were quite aware of how much control Team How You Like That had in this jungle prior to that large teleport fight. So that face
Good
check,
pick for Team Blue, yeah.
right? That face check will likely convert to a lot of Baron control here because the support will not be able to get those wards out necessary to prevent the Baron take. Kuga Teranori here picking up that red buff. I imagine that by the end of this game, we're going to see a lot of damage under that Jhin. Now, approaching the fourth lethality item, will likely be doing a lot of damage and even more so with that red buff. So it seems like this is a pretty standard 3-1. The curtain call being thrown out preemptively, perhaps to look for an engage here on Team Fashion Rats in the mid lane. Doesn't seem that they'll find their target, though the root will land onto Mango Stalker. But all in all, it's about a wash, and blue team will continue to exert whatever pressure they can onto this Baron. Notably, GM Tony did push out top lane a reasonable amount, so the Veigar there having to answer, or at least baited to answer that top lane wave as blue team just looks to burn this one down. It seems that red team is quite aware of this, though they may not have enough tools to capitalize. They have a blast plant at their disposal. The Vi is quite far away. The Culling seems to be the main answer, but the Smite will easily secure this one. The Flash Veigar kid should try to catch the blue team before they can even answer, but Kuga Teranori currently being free from harm is free firing onto Pykel, and with the Chrono Shift will just deal more than enough damage to secure this team fight. Mango Stalker, not even a threat onto this Jhin damage. The 4-shot will secure that one, and that'll be a triple kill for Kuga Teranori.
Yeah, it looks like their Mordekaiser was looking on securing the Lux while his team was fighting the Jhin,
Right.
who is quite strong right now.
Right, a lot of priority needs to be placed on this Jhin right now, who is certainly the strongest player in the game with 11 kills now, but 8 kills prior. Of course, only 2 members remain alive from Team How You Like That who have the Baron buff, though I imagine that's more than enough if you're looking to wrap this game up with a final siege, especially even more so when you have a 7k gold lead. I think even if you're Fashion Rats here, you would have hoped to have one more Drake to keep that Dragon win condition, the Dragon Soul win condition, on your side, but since the Dragons are 2 apiece, I think they'll just give this one and keep playing for the late game. Hope that the Veigar gets more gold and the crit build from Lucian outscales the lethality Jhin build. But it's a long road ahead, I think, and it will require a lot more clever and well-crafted team fights to get there.
Yeah, definitely. At this point in the game, I think, one ace could end the game here.
Easily. I think that's certainly the case. We see Celestian here shadowing Mango Stalker on the Mordekaiser, perhaps scared that there will be some sort of collapse onto the side laner. And it seemed that Team How You Like That was considering that, with all the pings being dropped onto the bot side of the map. But it looks like both sides are just backing off. Pretty standard siege here from Team How You Like That. They're just trying to get control as their split pusher gets up to this final tower here. It looks like they're just going to try to 5-man siege this one. Pykel has other ideas in the mid lane. It seems that he's interested in trading the tower, not seeing much hope of defending against this 5-man siege. Perhaps not perhaps not an unwise idea, though. Team How You Like That is certainly looking for more. It's a 5v3 in the bot lane here. It will be up to the remaining members of Team Fashion Rats to defend off of that one. Pykel and Van Amsterdam keep looking for more. As the Death Realm falls onto the Evelyn here, the Curtain Call tries to slow down the remaining members of the team. As no one is dead quite yet until Mango Stalker falls after coming out of that Death Realm. And Kuga Terranori is legendary on the Jhin. I think that is his 12th kill, and now is up to a 700 gold bounty.
In layman's terms, I'm not sure if that push down mid lane was #worth.
It may not have been. I think if you are, if you're Team Fashion Rats there, I don't think you were you definitely were not looking for the fight there. At least not until you had your Vi and your Vigar back in the bot lane.
I think down in the bot lane, the goal there is to clear as many waves as possible so that they can't siege your turret, right?
Right. But Team How You Like That manages to find the fight they need, and that will grant them 2 inhibitors. They still have, you know, a considerable amount of time until this final Earth Dragon spawns, so they can pretty comfortably walk down this top lane after they clear all of these camps and pressure that final lane without an inhibitor. I think if you're red team, your final hope is probably to find some clever picks in the jungle with the Morgana binding or a Vigar cage. It's debatable whether or not you actually win the late game, even though you do have the Veigar. You know, they of course have the Jax, and the damage from Jhin is just frankly not going away anytime soon. So the burden is certainly on them to come up with some clever playmaking here. And this pull from Mordekaiser might be the engage they need, but a teleport from How You Like That onto the minion might just secure this one. This is looking to just be a game-ending 5v5, and Pykel will be the first one to fall after that Assault and Battery. Celestine will do his best to zone off the enemy bot lane with his own ultimate, but the Curtain Call will burst him down, and this should be all she wrote for this game. Strong play from How You Like That in the mid-late game. Even though
these are two
these are 2 very strong teams, but I got to give props to them for navigating, you know, the few early deficits that they had earlier in the game and really just running away with this after like the team fight phase. Definitely a great showing. That will be a clean 35-minute game.
Great game by both teams. I'm excited to watch where both teams go in this round robin tournament.
Right. I mean, this was certainly a competitive game, for the majority of the game anyway, and I think there ought to be a lot more exciting games in store. So that will do it for us tonight. Thanks everyone for showing up to this late night edition of the solo duo tournament. I appreciate you guys watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and catch you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you.